Hello, name's Brother Timothy Earl Hoskins. This is the Lord's House of Prayer in Jackson, Tennessee. Coming to you again today. Today is the Sabbath, December the 6th, 2014. I thank you for all your prayers, all your comments, all your views on my uploaded videos. And everything seems to be working a little better on my videos here lately. So I ask you continually pray for me as I pray for you. I also pray for our leaders in our government, in our churches, the nation of Israel. God tells us that whosoever blesses Israel will be blessed, and whosoever curses Israel will be cursed. So we need to be mindful of that. We need to keep them close in our prayers and keep them close as brothers and sisters. And listen to a guy named Brother Stair a lot. I used to, I don't anymore. When I first got started into reading the Bible and things, he was one that I listened to quite a bit. He said, always keep your eye on Jerusalem. And I think that's real important nowadays when it comes time to, when we're getting close to the end times and those days of tribulation that are coming. We need to keep our eyes focused on Jerusalem to watch for those signs. I want to continue to ask for prayers for the people and the families that were involved in these tragic incidents that happened in Ferguson, Missouri, and New York, and with police officers and people in the community. We've actually had a couple of instances where police officers have shot people here in Jackson in the last couple of months. And we want to pray for those families, pray for the families of the victims and the officers, and for the people in the community. Hopefully that God can work in their hearts and bring about positive outcomes in these situations and peaceful outcomes instead of all the violence that's been going on. I've never thought that going out and committing violence because of something that happened is the right way to accomplish any kind of gains or any kind of positive change. It just adds to hatred. It just adds to division, and our leaders are not doing a very good job at helping with this either. So we need to continually pray for those situations. What I want to talk about today is, if you go back and watch some of my earlier videos, that I believe in the Saturday Sabbath, believe in keeping God's days. I don't, Easter has nothing to do with anything Christian or anything of God, neither does Christmas. These are man-made days that actually coincide with pagan festivals the same way as a Sunday Sabbath was the worship of the sun. We all know this started, these traditions of men started with the Church of Rome. The changing of the Sabbath was with the Roman Emperor Constantine. I don't remember the dates. I could look them up, but I didn't for this. A lot of times I don't really know what direction I'm going to go when I get on here, but I've got an idea laid out. And I want to read you in the Bible. I want to start off in Leviticus, and Leviticus 23, and this verse is 44. This chapter is 44 verses long. Now I'm not going to read every one of them, but I'm going to read what it tells you here. And this is God talking to Moses, telling him what days that people should keep. And this is not, a lot of people think that this is just for the Jews. It's not for Christians people, the Christians people, but we are spiritual Jews. I mean, Christ was a Jew. He was from the nation of Israel, Nazarenes, and we need to remember that. And at no time did Christ ever say that the Sabbath was Sunday or was going to be changed. In no time did he say any of these other days that were in the Old Testament were going to be changed. He kept them. So did the apostles keep them. Even after Christ's death and resurrection, they still kept these days. And that's something we need to remember. They were changed later by men. They were never changed by God. They were never changed by Yeshua, the Messiah. They were never changed by the Holy Spirit. So we need to keep that in mind. I'm going to read some in Leviticus here. I'm not going to read every verse because it is kind of a long verse. But I'm going to read a few. I'm going to start in chapter 1, and I'm going to read through verse 5. And the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocation. Even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest, a holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. In the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover. Now see, that takes into account the Sabbath day and the Passover. Let me read a couple more here. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread. In the first day ye shall have a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. So that's talking about the Sabbath day and the Passover day. Okay, let me go on down here where it talks about the day of Pentecost. Now, the church that I was attending in Lexington, which is a Sabbath church, and many other Sabbath churches keep the day of Pentecost too. It's the only Sunday that they keep. And I want to encourage you to read this whole chapter. I'm just going to read selected verses out of it. And this is the day of Pentecost. It says, And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering. 7 Sabbaths shall be complete. Even unto the morrow after the 7th Sabbath shall ye number 50 days, and ye shall offer a new meat offering unto the Lord. And that's the day of Pentecost after that. It says, Ye shall count unto the morrow after the Sabbath. It shall be what? 50 days. And that's the day of Pentecost. That's talking about the Passover. See, the Passover was first, which, we talk about, Christian churches will say Easter. Well, Easter, yeah, like I said, that's something that's pagan. It's not anything to do with Christ. Passover is. And then we have, let's see, the Day of Trumpets and the Day of Atonement. I'm going to go on down and read those. And this is going to be verses 23 through 28. It says, And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, a holy convocation. This is a day of trumpets. Ye shall do no servile work therein, and ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Also on the 10th day of this 7th month there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be a holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls, and offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. And ye shall do no work in that same day, for it is a day of atonement, to make an atonement for you before the Lord your God. This is a day of fasting as well, and it's a day of atonement. So we see there we got the Sabbath, the Passover, Day of Pentecost, Day of Trumpets, Day of Atonement. Now, I'm going to go on down, and I'm going to head into the Feast of Tabernacles, and also the 8th day, which is a millennial reign of 1,000 years with Christ. I'm going to start in 34, and I'm going to go to 38. Again, this is Leviticus 23, verses 34 through 38. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, The 15th day of the 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles, for 7 days unto the Lord. On the first day shall be a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. 7 days you shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. On the 8th day shall be a holy convocation unto you, and ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. It is a solemn assembly, and ye shall do no servile work therein. These are the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord, a burnt offering and a meat offering, a sacrifice and drink offerings, everything upon this day. Beside the Sabbaths of the Lord, and beside your gifts, and beside all your vows, and beside all your freewill offerings, you will give unto the Lord. So those are the days that we are supposed to keep as people of God. It says these days are for generations, and these are the ones that we should keep. Now, I'm going to read some scriptures in the New Testament. Mark 2, 27 and 28, and this is Christ himself speaking. And he said unto them, The Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath. Therefore the Son of Man is Lord also of the Sabbath. And I'm going to read another one here in Acts 12 and 4. And when he, Herod, had apprehended him, Peter, he put him in prison, and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Passover to bring him forth to the people. Now, if you use authorized King James or the old King James, it says Easter there. But the word is actually a Hebrew word, Paka, or Pasha, which means Passover. Acts 13, 42 and through 44. I'm going to kind of paraphrase this. When they were teaching the Jews about God's word, or Christ's word, what he had said and his doctrine, they taught the Jews in the synagogue on the Sabbath. Then when they left, the Gentiles come in and they taught them, and they actually taught them together the next Sabbath. And you can read in the book of Acts all through it, where Paul's talking about the great feast, or the feast days, the Sabbath, all of these. And they were keeping these days, and I believe the book of Acts was some 30, 35 years after Christ's death and resurrection. So if this had been changed, they would have been keeping different days, and not the same days as in the Old Testament. Because Christ and his apostles, that's what they were, when they said the scriptures, they were talking about the Old Testament, because the New Testament hadn't even been written yet. And so they didn't have any of that. They were taken from the old days. Paul says those tablets are not of stone, but in our hearts. This should be in our hearts. When God breathed that breath of life into Adam, these 10 commandments, these days, and everything were in him as well. I encourage you to read this and study it. I thank you for your time and watching my video. I ask that you pray for me as I continually pray for you. And once again, my name is Brother Timothy Earl Hoskins, and this is the Lord's House of Prayer in Jackson, Tennessee, and God bless.